Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're prying open the social scientists' toolbox to see exactly how they gather data about our world. I mean, how do they turn the messy, complicated stuff of human life into information we can actually understand? Well, it all kicks off with this massive challenge. How in the world do you take something as personal as an opinion or as complex as a behavior and, well, measure it? How do you put a number on the human experience? The answer lies in a really fascinating set of carefully designed methods for collecting data. You can think of them as specialized instruments that researchers use to systematically observe and record our social world. So let's explore some of the most important ones. Okay, our first set of tools is all about the art of asking. Because, getting good data often starts with asking the right questions in exactly the right way. And that begins with some very specialized scales. I guarantee you've seen this one before. The Likert scale is probably one of the most common tools in the entire box. It doesn't just ask for a simple yes or no. It gets way more precise by asking you to place yourself on a whole spectrum of agreement. Now, here's a totally different tool for a different kind of job, the semantic differential scale. This one tries to capture the deeper feeling or meaning of a concept. So instead of agreement, it asks you to rate something, say a brand or a political figure, between pairs of opposing words. So here's the key takeaway, the big difference between the two. A Likert scale is basically asking, how much do you agree with this? But a semantic differential scale is asking, what does this concept feel like to you? One is all about agreement, the other is about meaning. And this just shows that it's not enough to just ask the questions. The order is absolutely critical. Researchers use these clever techniques, like the funnel approach you see here. They start broad and then slowly narrow down. They also group similar questions together, and really strategically, they'll place the sensitive stuff in the middle after they've built a little trust. Of course, any tool is only as good as its construction, right? So how do researchers make sure their questions are actually any good? This brings us to the super important step of quality control. This really boils down to two critical but totally distinct concepts. First up, reliability, which is all about consistency. And second, validity, which is all about accuracy. You absolutely have to have both if you want your data to be worth anything. Think about reliability like a good old bathroom scale. If your weight hasn't actually changed, a reliable scale is going to give you the exact same number every single time you step on it. It's consistent. And researchers have some pretty clever ways to check for that consistency. As you can see here, they might do a test-retest, where they give the same group the same survey at 2 different times. Or they might use a split half trick to see if both halves of one survey give you similar results. Each one is just a different way to double-check for that all-important consistency. Now, validity, that's a whole different question. Let's go back to our scale. Is it actually measuring your weight, or is it somehow accidentally measuring your height? A valid tool has to be the right tool for the job. It has to measure exactly what it says it's going to measure. Okay, so you've built the perfect tool. You've checked it, and you're confident it's both reliable and valid. Now it's finally time to put that thing to work. Let's look at the practical side of actually conducting a survey. A good survey always follows a clear process. You don't just send it out into the world and hope for the best. First, you build the questionnaire. Then, and this is key, you do a pilot test, kind of like a small dress rehearsal, to iron out any kinks. You confirm its quality one last time, and only then do you launch it, making sure the timing is just right. And for those questionnaires people have to fill out themselves, like the ones you get in the mail or by email, the little details matter a lot. A really compelling cover letter explaining why their answers are so important, and then a gentle follow-up reminder, those things can make a massive difference in how many responses you actually get back. Now, this method comes with some pretty clear trade-offs. On the plus side, questionnaires are super efficient. They save time, they save money, and they can offer anonymity for sensitive topics. But the downside? You often get a really low response rate, and you have almost no control over how, or even if, people decide to answer. But what if asking questions, no matter how perfectly you write them, just isn't enough to get the answers you need? Well, let's open up the last part of our toolbox and look at the powerful and kind of tricky art of observation. Field research is all about taking the scientist out of the sterile lab and putting them right into the real world. It's about getting a first-hand look at how people actually behave in their natural environments. whether that's a chaotic office or a quiet family dinner. And once a researcher is out in the field, they've got a choice to make. They can be a participant observer where they actually join in on the activities to understand the experience from the inside, or they can be a non-participant observer, watching carefully from the sidelines to try and maintain some distance and objectivity. But here it is, the big, massive challenge. It's kind of like an observer's paradox. The simple act of watching someone can change how they behave. It's called a reactive effect, and it's something every single field researcher has to constantly think about and try to minimize. So this leaves us with one final crucial thought. To really, truly understand people, is it better to ask them what they think or to just watch what they do? As we've just seen, both methods have incredible strengths and their own unique challenges. The best tool? Well, that always depends entirely on what it is you want to find out.